Are we ready to talk about Legion?
I guess so. It's your time to tell the story, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hello, hello everybody, and welcome to our Dead Talk. Today we're talking about the Legion, which is a story about a young lady named Julie and how she was sitting getting hot chocolate one day and sketching some random guy in line and being kind of creepy about it. And he noticed and offered to pose. And then she was like, "Hey, you want to see my murder porn?" And like they just started bonding. But she had like two other friends named Susie and Joey, and Susie's fucking precious. Like she gets into trouble, but she's fucking precious. And then Joey's just trying to live his life, but he keeps getting fired from all of his jobs. So anyway, they go to a party, they all hang out, and they all get introduced, and they're like, you know what? There's gonna be have you heard the story of the Soldiers of Mayhem?
Yes.
And it's legit just a made up story. Like Julie made it up about a bunch of people that went and killed people in Ormond. And Frank's like, no, that didn't actually happen. She's like, but it's really us. And then she wrote it on his fucking shirt like an asshole. Like Frank was wearing a
It
plain white t-shirt and she's just like, Soldiers of Mayhem. And he's like, that name sucks dick. Why did you do that? Like,
because it was
just
romantic,
ruined.
okay? They're grunge teenagers from the 90s.
If you
He
take a
didn't
Sharpie
he
on a
didn't
shirt,
care how clean his shirt was because they're grunge.
no,
Yes.
no.
Yes.
If I walked up to anybody that like I had just like started to
Also, he liked
develop a
her, so he would have let her because he had a crush on her.
listen, when I was in high school, I was desperate, but if somebody came up and wrote on my shirt with a Sharpie, that would be it. We're not dating like at all. You get out of my house.
He was into it though.
I would pack up my murder porn and leave.
Okay, I'm just saying he was absolutely into it. He was all about that.
Anyway, he had been bounced like Frank had been bounced around from foster home and he was currently with an alcoholic. So he was actually already thinking about like calling child services and having them escort his ass out of there. But since he had this person that was kind of obsessing over him and apparently enjoyed having stuff written on his white shirt that he never wore again in the entirety of the lore with a name that he didn't like, uh, anyway, so he decided not to report deadbeat foster dad. And apparently, deadbeat foster dad did not notice that his kid decided to like go hole up in a fucking cabin at the resort because there's like a little abandoned cabin. They're like, oh, we're gonna go and hang out up there, and they were decorating it because Julie had started a contest with Frank with whoever gets the most like little designer thingies off of the hoods of the cars, the hood ornaments, uh they could get whatever they want. Which when I read that, I was like, Julie wants a piece of that ass. And
Mhm.
with how quickly that Frank took off, I was like, clearly that's the goal. Like we're off to the races. We are going
Everyone's a
after
winner
that
in this
guy.
contest.
Exactly. um like I it was crazy. So anyway, they were decorating with hood ornaments, and then Joey and Susie were stealing stop signs to cause car accidents and taking pictures.
Dude, that was like one of my favorite parts of the tome was them coming in and they're like, there's just so many accidents.
It's like nobody died. It was just car wrecks.
Right?
Um. So yeah, they all run up there and they're decorating it, and then Julie's like, "Listen, I have the best name for us guys. We're gonna be the Marauders of Mayhem." And Frank's like, no. And I think Susie was also like, no. But Joey was like, yeah.
Joey is a man of taste.
Like, I felt bad for Joey. Like, the whole time, I'm like, Joey could do better. Susie can do better. because like Joey was like, "It's cool, you know, I'm gonna support you. It's a crappy name. Let's do this." But Frank and Susie were like, "Fuck no." So that name got chucked out of the window. I feel like Julie just really liked the name Mayhem.
Yeah.
Um,
She liked those old commercials. You remember them? The
no.
insurance commercials?
Oh yeah, but that was before they were born. This is like the '90s, isn't it? It was before the those commercials came out.
Yeah, this was before the commercials. I'm just making a joke because I think it's
Ah,
funny.
I got it.
Thanks.
So hey, Lord Baby. So anyway, they're decorating that area with it. The name didn't work out. Joey got himself a new job at a hardware store, so like go Joey. Um, and I don't remember if it was before or after that. Uh, Frank invited Julie out on like a date in the middle of a fucking blizzard, and Julie showed up and pulls up with the car, and like all three of the other ones were waiting, and Frank like opens the door like a gentleman and helps her out of the car. They had just drenched an entire theater in gasoline.
Yes.
And she was just like, "Oh my god, guys, so nice!" And she got to light it on fire.
I
She
love
was so
Julie.
happy. So anyway, later on down the line, they decide that they're gonna go and steal some shit from the hardware store. And Joey's like, "Dude, he's gonna be gone for like 10 minutes. Could you like go? I don't want to get fired again." And Frank sees a snow globe, and Joey's like, "Don't fucking touch it. It's my boss's. I don't want to get fired." So Frank's a dick, so he took it. And Julie's also a dick, so she took like every snow globe she could find in that place. And then they pieced
Not
out.
because she's a dick, but because she's an artist. But go on.
Anyway, she did do some art with her snow globes. There were snowmen in it, and she did some modifications. And Frank comes in and he sees these little snow globes, and she's like, "Look what I made for you!" And he's like, "Oh, that's so lame. If only those snow eyes were like actual people." And she was like, "Dude, it's an actual fucking dude. Like it wasn't her fault. She could only make a stick man. Like she had." Like, you know how hard it is to like break open a snow globe and then make a modification inside the snow globe and then like pack the fucker back up. Like she was really sad, but he fixed it. He was just like nice. And she was just like, "Oh, hot." Um anyway, later they also had this conversation later on. It was a discussion over whether or not they would kill for each other. And like Julie asks Frank, and like the way she asked about it, and like how she was like acting in the way it was like she was waiting for him to say yes. "Oh yeah, baby, I would kill you." He actually was like, "No, I don't think I could do that." And Julie's like, "Yeah, me too." When like in reality, she had been wanting to kill someone for like a really long time, so if
Right.
he said yes, like the stars would have just lined up. Um anyway, Joey got fired from his job, and artist just made teriyaki beef and broccoli with rice.
Ooh, that sounds good.
Anyway, Joey got fired, and he said that like his boss fired him for something, like stealing something, and Joey said he actually didn't steal it.
It was a chocolate
Like he got
bar.
yeah, he got fired for stealing something he didn't even fucking steal. Like of all the shit that went missing, it's the one thing
I
that Joey didn't take.
honestly though, I would be pissed about that too. I'd be like,
Yeah.
"Are you kidding me? All this shit my friend stole. Didn't notice that. Your snow globe, where's it been? Chocolate bar, you noticed that? Sure."
So, Joey was a little bit pissed off about that. So at the end of the day, um, Frank decided he wanted to turn in his prize for having collected the most hood ornaments. And I'm sure, much to Julie's dismay, it was not to go to Pound Town. He wanted to go and like light the fire for himself. Um, but she did come up with a new name, and she called them the Legion. And we got all thumbs up on that one. So she got a bunch of like plain white masks and stuff because they were like, "Oh man, should we like dress up and be like superheroes and shit?" And then Frank's like, "Well, I mean, we can't really be superheroes and newsworthy." if we're not doing some crazy bullshit. So, but anyway, they got plain white masks. They decorated them. Um, they go to the hardware store and they have their little hoodies. They're, synchronize your hoodies. They all went in there and they're stealing shit, prying open the register. There was a janitor there and he was listening to music at the time, but then he noticed them, so he pulls out his headphones and goes over and he grabs a hold of Julie, like holding her, like, get the fuck out of here, fuck off, and all that. And Frank was like, no, and he stabbed him, and Julie's just like, oh my god, boo, you won't kill me. So then Frank's like, all right, listen, we all gotta be in this together. So we all gotta stab him. And Julie's like, give me the knife was already like flying, and she's like, okay. Just stabbed him. Joey's like, well, I guess that makes sense. So Joey stabs him. Susie was fucking horrified. Like, if you watch
Mm-hmm.
the cutscene, you can see, like, she's got a mask on, but her body language is just horror.
Yeah.
And she's crying and she's shaking and she doesn't want to do it. So I think it was Frank started screaming at her, and Julie put the knife in her hand, and then Frank took her hands and forced her to stab him.
Yes.
So then they decided to go hide the body. They went and dug a grave. They dropped him in there. The entity's like, you know what, guys? I've taken a lot of really solid people from you. Let me just go ahead and haul this piece of garbage out for you. And Julie noticed he was gone, and Julie's like, let's go, bitches. And like, I think if Susie was in her rational mind, I feel like Susie wouldn't have gone, but Susie had just like endured trauma,
Yeah.
and her best friend just ran into the fog, so she went with her too. And Joey was just like, sure, that's fine, that makes sense. So yeah, and they rolled into the fog, and there they are. There you go. Susie dates Cheryl confirmed.
So
That's
that's the Legion.
yeah.
I do think
I
it's funny. I know I cracked jokes about it while you were storytelling, but they really tried to make, because like if you read the backstory, it's from Frank's perspective, but then the tome seems to be from Julie's perspective. So Frank ends up going to Ormond with the dude, and it's like the furthest away he's ever been from where he's originally from, and sees, like, he's going to school or whatever, he sees Julie, and he like immediately has a crush on her. But then the tome picks up with like Julie being like, oh my god, the new guy drawing him and shit. And
yeah.
like, and they just like, they try to play it on like these two like super edgy teenagers, they're just made for each other, or like they think they're made for each other, like how that is with teenagers sometimes,
Yeah.
where they really just like, I think he even said like Julie was just like, they felt like soulmates. I feel
Yeah,
like
she
that
felt
was,
spiritually connected to
that's
him.
what it was. And I was just like, girl, you are like 16.
Yeah.
um Also, I think what I love most is in the wiki where it says occupation, high schoolers, serial killers.
Oh my god.
I love
Yeah, I'm
that.
just like, I am disappointed because I hated Frank. Like, through the whole thing, just consistent dislike of Frank. I didn't like Julie either.
I love Julie. She's my favorite.
I didn't like her because, like, she's always obsessed with Frank, which is, it's fine. Teenagers, they do that shit.
Right.
Uh, but like, the hardware store really stood out to me. Like, I was like, okay, I'm kind of cool with her. But like, Joey asked one thing in this whole store: don't take the snow globes.
No, he said don't take the boss's snow globe because it was a special collection piece from when
Yeah,
Ormond started to become a tourist town with the resort. The other snow globes were just general snow globes that Julie took after she saw Frank take the snow globe, and she was like,
sure.
"Frank likes snow globes. I'm gonna make him a special snow globe." Like, Julie is like weirdly romantic in like the most unhealthy ways,
But like,
is what I got from her.
nobody stood up for Joey.
No, They placed bets
And
against when he would get fired. Like,
the fact that like Frank took the snow globe and she, instead of like saying something like, "Hey, maybe I'll make a snow globe for you" or something, she not only let that slide, but then decided to like get him more of it. And
mhm.
I'm like, don't reward his behavior. He's being a dick to one of your friends, for fuck's sake. Like, I
But
imagine
she
like,
likes him, and that trumps everything in her mind.
and then Hardware Store Part 2, Susie doesn't want to stab him.
But
Susie,
Frank
like,
wants
Susie,
her
yeah,
to.
but Susie, like, loves Julie. Like, this is her best friend.
Hmm.
Like, if you're obsessed with somebody, sure, but why would you do that to your best friend? Why would you, like, let somebody grab onto your best friend and then help put a knife in their hands and force them to do something that they don't want to do? Like, I was like, Julie?
Julie is Julie is that person who, when they get into a relationship or they really like somebody, they will make all of the wrong choices to make that person happy. It's just because of the nature of this genre. She does it to a deadly level. Um
But
of
still,
uh,
like,
she is
Joey
mentally
didn't.
unwell, but I think the root of it is, well, not the root of it. The root of it is that she's mentally unwell. She's romantic. The issue is she's also mentally unwell. It
But, like,
it's
in this,
dangerous.
the Susie thing just, like, clinched it, though. Joey didn't step in. Like, he didn't do anything to help Susie, but he also didn't do anything to force her to do it.
Right.
Like, when they're talking about it, it's all Frank and Julie forcing her to do this stuff.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, if I was Joey and this was going on, and the people with the knife are the ones that are like currently trying to force someone to do it, like I can see him being like, you know what? I don't want to get stabbed. But like, I can't imagine like calling somebody your best friend and then doing that to them. So I was like, Julie is like, I don't like her. I was just like, this this isn't okay. Even for a serial killer dreaming of setting shit on fire, like there's a line, damn it. You don't fuck with your friends, especially when they're supposed to take the fall with you.
I really
Like,
like her. I think she's a terrible person, but I like that as her character. If that makes sense.
yeah,
You know, and there's like a really well written villain. That's how I see her.
I would rather have lore from Joey and Susie because
They were
like
fun. They were very fun.
cuz you kind of feel like it feels like they're trying to pull like a Harley Quinn and Joker type of thing if
Yes.
Joker was hipster.
Yes.
Um
Grunge, not hipster. Grunge. They are grunge. They're early 90s grunge.
and like I was like I've seen enough of that kind of a combination of characters that I don't find it interesting. Like it's a common thing.
Hmm.
So if they would have focused on Joey and Susie, because just from like how they were acting, reacting, interacting with each other and the other people, I feel like they would have had a much more complex story. Like especially Susie, like trying to like she's already breaking laws and shit, but she seems like she's more of like kind of a misguided person or like an outsider or a loner that has a hard time making friends and like trying to cope with the shit that's going on,
Hmm.
or just Joey because Joey just gives me stoner vibes. And I'm like, I want to see how Joey is just living his life.
Canonically, though, Frank is the stoner.
I know he did do that. That was that one time he got stoned and was like, guys,
He's like, you just
just think
gotta,
positive. Gotta think positively and like
you gotta know what you
see
want.
yourself doing
Yeah.
it, and then it'll happen.
Thank you for the love, Spencer. Welcome, Swan. How have you been? Legion's story is so good. I do really enjoy Legion's story. I like them, like I like them all as characters. I really like their dynamics.
I just want more. I want more Susie and I want more Joey.
You're gonna have to go write that fan fiction, aren't you? Give it to us.
No, I don't
It,
wanna.
fine. I've been doing great, Swan. I'm glad you're well. Um, okay. So as for the deaths,
Yes.
if this were or a horror movie. So for those of you who are new, we just recapped the Legion backstory, talked about them for a bit. Now we're going to place the survivors in a horror movie setting where Legion are the killers.
Artist wants Susie X Cheryl and nothing else.
Get to write an artist. Weren't you wasn't artist supposed to write that? Didn't we ask that like 4 weeks ago?
Maybe? Did we?
I
Artist?
feel like we did. I think so. I think I mean I have all the episodes on YouTube. I can go back and watch.
We have it documented.
Right. But yeah, so this is obviously going to take place on artist's favorite map
Yes.
that I'm personally sick of at this point. Mount Ormond Resort. I imagined just a good old setting. Hi, Coco. Is all of the survivors are just everybody's on their own like little ski vacation,
Yeah.
staying at the resort. I was like, this is the easiest one that we have to like get everybody together. It's so simple.
Even
And
better, the resort is still closed, but Ace saw an easy, like, he got a bet. Like, I bet you can't get a bunch of people to go up there and say it's an actual resort still working. And Ace is like, deal. So they they all get there. The resort is fucking wrecked because no one's been there. And Ace is just like, oh no, this is exactly how it's supposed to be.
Ace actually like scams them all, makes them all buy tickets and shit.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
He's like trying to get them up the ski slopes when the chairs are halfway hanging off the fucking thing.
That's really funny.
Uh,
I also imagined
they had a Groupon.
I also imagined so you know the trailer when Legion was announced
Yes.
was David getting offed. And I
Uh-huh.
was like, what if he was just like the first dead and somebody just like finds his body stabbed to death and they're just like, what the fuck? So he was on my first dead list.
Hmm.
As for surviving,
I had for my first dead, I had either Kate or Jane
ooh, interesting.
because when they were having their conversation about, if they should wear superhero outfits, they're talking about if they did things that were bigger that would get them well known, so wouldn't they pick off a target that has a following like
Who's
a musician
famous?
or a talk show
That's a
host?
that's a really good point.
That
Swan,
was my thought.
I'm glad you enjoy me fighting on TikTok against people who don't know how perks work, but uh I like that. I'd be okay with one of them going. Do you have a preference? I think Kate's probably more famous.
Agree with artist. Jane is more like seems to be more known outside of the local area.
Kate's literally
Like,
gone on major tours. She's the Taylor Swift of Dead by Daylight.
but isn't she more of like a country music singer?
So is Taylor Swift. She's the Taylor Swift of Dead by Daylight.
Saying like certain parts of the country are not going to recognize a country music singer, like unless they really stand out Like
Like
maybe
Taylor
is
Swift.
it Taylor Swift and Garth Brooks or something? I don't know who the fuck these country music people are because I'm like, I don't listen to that crap. As like half of your chat's probably like, let's kill her. I don't listen to country. Um, so what you're saying is that Kate could have been on Jane's show? Exactly. Yes.
Welcome, Psychona. She's the Taylor Swift of DVD, and yet Nancy and Steve are the ones in a lawsuit right now. They're not in a lawsuit. Oh man.
So
I'm just saying
I think it would.
Kate's actually like lore wise very famous.
I think it's Jane.
You want Jane to die first?
I mean, she's a talk show host, and I like artists
She
point that
is.
if you are trying to get clout as a performer,
You kill Ricky
sometimes she
Lake.
will.
Got it. So Jane.
Yeah. Yes.
All right.
Um,
Okay, Coco's about to unplug my headset. Just like a heads up if I suddenly can't hear anything. Technically, Trickster's the most famous, and Kate is high up there. Okay, you know what? You right. But Trickster's episode is not for another couple of weeks. So
mhm.
until then, Trickster doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Um. Okay, so Mount Ormond Resort. It is an abandoned ski resort that Ace, through some of his dealings, convinced himself, or someone convinced him, that he could make people pay to go there and convince them that it was an up and running, very nice resort. And that's what was going to get everybody to go there. And
Mm.
one of the ticket buyers is Jane Romero, who, upon showing up, gets murdered in the middle of the night or something.
So who were your last survivors? What are
Um,
your guesses?
so for my last survivors, I had like Meg, which I know you hate. But Meg or Cheryl or Fung.
I had Bill and Susie.
Susie.
Yeah. Yeah, one of the Legion people.
Are you
I had
saying the rest
Bill.
of the Legion are gonna die?
I'm just saying it's a possibility. Nobody
Wow.
would miss
You're
them. The
literally
lore
gonna
even says that.
you're literally going to kill Julie right in front of my Nuka-Cola.
You know what? She'd be excited because somebody could put her in her own scrapbook. She's gonna be some other white girl's dream.
Psychona feels like Meg would put on the Death Garden mask and blend. That was my thoughts. I was like, Meg cannot run all of them, or also camo. Meg becomes the Legion. She kills Julie and then dresses up like Julie. But then Frank finds out
Um,
it's not really Julie and kills Meg. That's gonna be closer to the end of the movie. We'll hang on to that thought.
see, I've got Bill and Susie as my last survivors, and you've got
Bill's interesting, but okay.
mhm.
So Bill, Susie, Meg.
I do not have Cheryl in my list artist.
I did. Please, Bill will die of hypothermia.
He's got his helicopter sweater.
Right? He's ready for the holiday. Okay. So everyone shows up to this resort, which is clearly run down. um, I'm guessing they like all transportation is at the bottom of the mountain. They just can't fucking leave because otherwise, if I showed up, I'd be like, well, okay, so I'm going back. Bye. Um, so
I'm just imagining like Ace is manning the front desk as these people come in. All of them are so pissed off. People are screaming at them, and then suddenly the entire crowd goes quiet because there is just an aura of pissed off in the back as they slowly part, and Yunjin struts up there to rip Ace a new asshole. I feel like she would have that like that saloon kind of feel where the player everybody just stops what they're doing and turns to look at the door.
are you calling Yunjin Karen Supreme?
Yes. All the Karens just kneel before the Yunjin.
Psychona says lungs blacker than tar and respiration system on literal life support for Bill. Cammy also says Legion is definitely part of the OK Boomer movement, so Bill has to go.
Okay, hear me out. He has a gun.
You can't kill children! It's against the rules of decency and entertainment.
Isn't everybody over 18 but Susie? Because we had that conversation
Yeah,
once.
they
Because
pretty
everybody was
much.
like,
I think
oh yeah, I totally banged this guy, and then Susie, and everybody's like, whoa, 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 whoa. She's like 16. They're like, all right, fine. Susie is shelved,
I think Cheryl's like
but the rest of
17.
them,
I think Cheryl's like 17 also.
yeah.
Yunjin
But
comes
technically,
in
I
with the
am
pink and blue
following
bob
the
and cusses him
rules.
out. What was that?
Technically, I am following the rules because Susie made it on my last survivor list, and she is one of the ones under 18.
Well, I just imagined none of the Legion dying, so to be
I'm just saying.
entirely frank.
But I'm just saying, what what superpower, what supernatural ability does Legion have other than numbers and just like
No, it's purely
teenage
numbers. They're fucking hyenas.
numbers and just teenage ball sacks just swinging? I'm just saying that Bill's got the goods to
He's
pop four
also
of them down.
he's also old, right? Like
He's fought hordes of
if
zombies.
my
Zombies
grandpa
don't have
got
some
jumped
not
by if
problems.
my grandpa got jumped by four teenagers, he would not make it out alive. They don't even need knives. He's just old.
I don't.
If you
Okay,
want to go with
Bill's
the
not.
gun thing, if you want to go with the gun thing, Jill and Leon are your better because they can actually like put up a fight with some teenagers.
Yeah, but I feel like Bill could he could have a conversation like, you guys think you're such badasses? Have you ever seen a horde of zombies and then get ditched because you're the only one that's willing to take them all on?
So Cammy's
By the way, I lived through Nam. Just puts the cigarette out in one of their eyes.
Cammy's pointed out that given the choice, many of the young survivors would convert to join the Legion, which is an intriguing idea. Um,
Oh, I
but
forgot. Yui was also one of my last survivors because she is versed in fighting people with knives, and
oh, true,
also
she is.
is just gives me this vibe of I will kick your ass.
Psychona says that Bill can barely fight off limp-dicked zombies. So
Hey, we talked about this. He legit has like all the goods in his pouch. So we're good.
did, when did we talk about Bill's?
His peen?
Yeah, what? I
I
don't
have
remember
it
that conversation at all. The
I have it on YouTube, but he's got a little pouch and we're like, "Oh yeah, it's just full of Viagra and peen pumps."
oh, that's right. I remember that conversation. So are the peen pumps for the zombies then?
I mean, he can make do whatever he wants to do with them.
Sure.
He's a rascally old man.
All right, so Yunjin parts the way to come and yell at Ace. And while she's yelling at Ace, somebody could probably find Jane's body. And you have that whole like a scream in the distance and some people go running. I imagine the cops.
I'm just imagining the guy squad finds them, like Jeff and David and Ash find them, and they're like just like casually pushing Jane like in a closet.
Hiding the body so it doesn't ruin Ace's scam because they're getting a cut of the deal.
He has to get a 5-star review on Google.
Ash pulls out the chainsaw and he's like, I can take care of this.
They just put a fucking ski thing, the little ski ride that goes up into the mountain, just strap her in. Just goes round and around and around.
I need to make note of that. I need somebody that's not one of them to find her body eventually. Jane needs justice after this.
Justice for Jane.
Please, hashtag it. Oh my god. Oh. I don't even know where to go with this.
The squad of boys have just been amazing.
For those who are new, we've established some weird ass headcanon that Ace, Ash, Jeff, and David King are the bros. Whenever we need they are our Deus Ex Machina at this point, to be honest. If we just need something fucking insane, fucking wild, fucking stupid, we're just like, one of the boys did it! And then they just like, as a collective group, make shit happen. And in this case, it is getting rid of Jane's body.
I could easily see Legion just getting split in half because like they try and intimidate Ash, and Ash just whips out the chainsaw, and Julie's like, "No, Frank's the leader," and Joey's like, "Holy shit, I'm joining that side," and Susie's like, "Hell yeah! You know how many stop signs we could take down with that thing? The accidents we could cause." Legion divides. It's Frank and Julie, with Ash and Joey and Susie just divided in half. The story could go so many different ways.
It really could. So on one floor, Yunjin's yelling at Ace. On the other, the boys are cleaning up a body that they've found. Where to next?
Well, I mean, we could always take Kate next. You know, Kate's like, well, you know, I can make the best of this, and just goes up on that decrepit ass balcony, and she's just strumming along on her guitar singing, and just like one of the Legion just kills her, and that's what gets everybody. It's the sound of as she hits the ground.
Oh my god. Like that one drop in front of the crane?
Yeah.
Where it's like the open wall and Kate's body just falls.
Ash just like every
Sure.
time somebody dies, the guys take their phone and gives them a 5-star review on Google with their phone.
Just like the haunted theme is great. Special effects, amazing. 10 out of 10. 12 out of 5.
Yes.
So murdered off the balcony, splats in front of the view of everyone. And people are like, oh my god, that was Kate Denson, the Taylor Swift, Dead by Daylight.
I can just imagine like somebody's like, oh my god, and they like go up to Ace to like complain, and just Yunjin's finger just like, I am not done yet.
Um, yeah.
Like at this point, Ace is just like moved to the recliner because he's gonna be here a while.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I like that. So while Yunjin will not let anyone talk to Ace, we can get Tap, Jill, Leon to like go check out the fucking body that just fell because of their cop instincts of being like, hey guys, let's not trample on the crime scene.
Yeah, they're just roping it off.
Telling everyone, don't go near here. Maybe it's best you go to your rooms. Trying to like release the chaos, figure out how they can call whatever like local law enforcement there is, but they're up in the mountain, there's no reception. Somehow they've like time traveled into the 90s where cell phones don't even exist. They can't figure it out. Whatever. Actually, 96 there were cell phones. But none of them would work in the mountains. I don't think Verizon existed yet.
Imagine
Um
they wouldn't be able to even get keys from Ace. They're probably just like,
they don't
well, I
actually
guess we should
need
like
keys.
go look for the room. And if it's like the Ormond of the game, there's like that one bedroom still left upstairs.
There's two
And they're all
bedrooms.
just
There's two bedrooms
all
upstairs.
so like they all start going upstairs to look and there's two bedrooms and just everybody's looking at each other like
How do we divide this up? There's
uh
bloodstains in one from where Jane's body was. There's like you just see it like you know that one. Okay, so you know you go up in the map. And you have the two rooms on your left as you're running down, and there's that pallet at the end with the window you can drop out of.
mhm.
So coming out of the room at the end is just this streak of blood where a body was obviously dragged out of the room and down around to that drop. Because at the bottom, like Jeff and David were dragging the body out, and at the bottom was Ash ready with the chainsaw to chop it up while everyone was distracted inside.
My god. They're like
Quentin
like
actually saw it happen. He saw the body fall, and then he was just like, oh god, I'm falling asleep, and just thought it was a dream.
my god.
Oh my goodness.
Everybody just assumes that Ace is like the bloodstains are just Ace has been killing hookers in the mountains since before they got there.
What if what if they did though? What if they actually thought that? And we're gonna try to be vigilantes
Oh my god, they're gonna try and get him to confess.
and imprison Ace.
This is gonna be weird because I feel like at the end of the day, if they try and take Ace for murdering somebody when he didn't murder them,
This is gonna
and
be like Ghostface all over again.
David, Ash, Ace, and Jeff are like they make their own legion to save Ace,
That
ends
sounds
up
hilarious.
being Boomer Legion versus Legion.
It's more like Gen X. That's hilarious though. I love it. It's kind of like the Ghostface episode where like Ace ended up taking the heat for the Ghostface murders, and Ghostface was like, "What the fuck? It was me." But this
I just
time
want
it's
the
Julie who's really mad. She's like, "I'm never gonna get famous if they keep thinking it's some man. He's old. Who's he gonna kill?"
I just want them to be boomers so that Ash can come out and be like, and this is my boomer stick.
Okay, deal. That's fine. That's fine. I'm okay with that. Like, David and Jeff are clearly Gen X, but Ace and Ash could very easily be young boomers. But I like that.
I just feel bad for Dwight. Like he's got his boyfriend is with this uh erratic group of bros.
It's the
It's
best.
like I really love you, but I really think you're hanging out with the wrong crowd. Every time you come home, you just smell like cigarettes, smoke, and hookers. Like, listen, I'm sorry. That's just It's just Ace's normal smell.
I promise we're not doing. We were just watching movies. I sat next to him for too long.
It's like he's got this cologne and it just smells like that.
He kind of looks like he would have a cologne like that.
Mm.
I love Ace.
Um,
I love Ace so much. A little trash man.
poor Nia. Nia would be like, "All right, let's go tag." Damn it!
It's
Everybody's
already
already
tagged.
tagged. What am I supposed to do here? I should have to tag the tags.
We could have Jake wander off as far as him being like, I don't want to be here. I want to leave. This is clearly a fucking scam. And then him being like, it's just down the mountain. Like, I've survived worse. And he could just
Yeah,
fucking leave.
yeah,
One
yeah.
of the teens can probably get him while he's off out in the middle of nowhere, but I think we could get rid of Jake pretty easily.
Yeah, just like going down the list here.
Okay. Oh, they updated Quentin's profile thing in the wiki.
I know. I'm like a little bit creeped out because
It's
like
weird.
David looks weird. He looks like a fucking
Oh
Pokemon.
shit, oh god, they updated all oh my god. Oh, there
Yeah.
more are update. Oh. Oh. I don't like it. I like Aces.
Quentin's
I
face
love
still looks
Aces.
like a fucking nightmare in his portrait, though.
They're so weird. It's just like those ones in the middle. Nia's is updated. Uh David's looks yeah, he looks like an anime character.
Yeah.
It's kind of hilarious.
Fun
Unnerving.
looks older.
She does. She looks like she's like 30 something.
Hmm. Ace,
Weird.
like, I feel like they gave him a little extra space, like he's trying to come out of the finger guns.
He doesn't know whether to like finger you or tip his hat, so he'll just do
Yeah.
both.
Ma'am.
Man. Okay. So Jane's body got dragged out. They see the blood there. And they're like, this man has been killing people. We have to take care of him. Yunjin's still down there yelling at him. Um but the
He also mentions
others
that, like, this is Nancy's reporting skills.
Nancy's deduced it.
Yeah. She's, since she wanted to get into the news business and Zarina's there, she wants to impress her. They're sleuthing.
So I think she easily could convince Steve to go and wrangle Ace. I think Steve could take on Ace, but I think it would help if Yui helped out. So everyone goes
Yeah.
back down, but Steve and Yui are the ones that like grab Ace by either arm and are like,
I
"You're
don't
coming up with us."
like I don't think getting Ace is gonna be the hard part. Like honestly, if somebody could stop Yunjin and get her away, like they're like, yeah, Ace, we need to see. He's like, yes, yes, of course.
You know what? You're right.
Yunjin would have like this death hold on him, like, don't you dare fucking leave
Yui.
until I have a refund and a suite.
That's a great line, and that can be where used. Like, this entire place has 2 bedrooms. You're not getting a suite. Just like shutting her down immediately.
This is
Um,
Yui's one opportunity to just one hit KO her, just knock her straight out.
if you want that to happen, we can make it happen.
Yes. Like they're just trying to get Ace. Yunjin's getting in the way, and Yui's just like, and then immediately Dweet has to elbow David because he got like this massive boner. Because he just saw somebody punch someone one time into unconsciousness. He's like,
I thought David, I thought David's out taking care of a body with Ash
I
and
thought they,
Jeff.
I thought they already took care of it. I don't imagine that they did a good job.
I just imagine the three of them are off just like dragging this body away and just like trying to get it into like the ski lift while chaos is happening and at the actual place.
Okay. Yeah, I like that Yui just clocks her. Just instant silence falls on Orman. The birds are coming back to rest on the trees.
And then Ace is just like, "So what did you need help with?"
I know, he just like take it. It's just like, thank you so much.
At which point Jill just fucking grabs him
Yeah, just
and is like,
instantly. Yeah, he like reaches out like, oh my god, thank you. Just two cups, just instantly on his hand.
and he's like, "It's not that big of a deal. I'll give you guys a refund." He thinks they're mad about the scam, not the
He's
murder.
like, I'll give you a refund, just don't give me a bad review.
So one bedroom Jane was murdered in, and there's blood everywhere. The other room is probably okay, and they'll probably just have Ace just locked in that room because they don't want to ruin the crime scene, of course.
Yeah.
Um, so they they can lock Ace in that room. We could eventually have Ace killed. The teenagers find a way to like break in while people are asleep or something later on in the night.
I mean, if he's cuffed to a chair, he's an easy target.
Oh, yeah. So we can have Ace die eventually, unfortunately. I'm so sad. I love Ace. Um okay, so they get him locked up and let's see. Nia's sad she can't tag anything. It's already tagged. She's like, "What's this weird legion? That thing that's tagged everywhere?"
Okay. Just know my dogs are barking at something. Uh, she thinks that name is lame. Just spray paints it and calls tags it the Soldiers of Mayhem.
Nia and Jolie actually become best friends by the end of this. Um,
Takes one of the snow globes and is like, "This is amazing. There's a guy on fire in the snow globe. Who took this much time and effort?" Nia and Julie.
I love it.
It's what Julie finally gets the attention she deserves.
I love it. That'll be great. Which gives Frank reason to murder Nia
Hmm.
for trying to steal his girlfriend.
We are going to shatter the Legion. You know this, right?
No, we're not. No, we're not. They'll be happy forever.
Hmm.
But yeah, they can all be everybody's all talking about like, okay, what do we do with this Ace guy? How do we get back down the mountain? Blah blah blah. Nia's up there spray painting Soldiers of Mayhem. Julie shows up and she's like, "That's a cool name. I love it."
I just meant like she took the like Nia spray paints it Soldiers of Mayhem on the wall because like in one of their spotlights they actually have Legion tagged on Ormond,
Mhm.
like really open
It's
tag.
there in the map too.
Not the big one. I looked for it, unless it's just on a different map.
No, it's on the Ormond map in the building. You can see where it says Legion.
Uh, so she tags it and puts like Soldiers of Mayhem, takes the snow globe, and she goes out and she starts like replacing all of the Legion with Soldiers of Mayhem. And like Julie's just like crouched on a wall watching. And then they like she's like, "That's a real cool name," like totally intending to stab her. And she's like, "Yeah, I found like this notebook that had it written down, and I thought
I
that
found
was a
this
really
old
cool
I
name."
found a shirt lying around.
Yes, it was in a garbage can, but I was like, "Man, this is an amazing name." And then I found this snow globe with this guy that's on fire, and it's amazing and has such like such detail and like just starts like fangirling over all this stuff. And Julie's just like, you can't see it because she's wearing a mask, but she's like bright red, like, oh,
What if
thank
well what if she wasn't wearing a mask? Because I think if she was wearing a mask, like Nia would probably be like, "That's fucking weird. Why are you wearing a mask?"
you.
Versus if Julie just approached her like, "I'm a normal person who was also caught up in this scam that the man that we
True.
caught is in a room for." Um, like she could play it off that way, kind of like with the trailer where like it's Frank and David running, and then turns out like,
Yeah.
oh god, Frank then pulls down the mask.
Like I'm just saying that like Frank was like very fuck the establishment and Nia's very fuck the establishment.
They
I'm
are,
just
aren't they?
saying that Nia better than Frank.
It's true. And
If
I
there's
think
gonna be a happy ending for Julie, I think it's gonna be hooking up with Nia. Nia will take care of her.
you are right. I don't think Frank will let that happen while he's alive.
I don't think so either, but
And I
I'm just
think
saying
Nia has to die.
Nia is so much better. I want Nia and Julie to have time to develop their relationship
Okay,
because
okay.
he needs time for Frank to like feel like she's an actual threat.
You're right.
Like he could be looking at her as like a potential recruit right now, but when they
But
start
the
getting
closer
real
her and
close,
Julie get,
then he starts getting a little threatened.
okay, okay, I'm down for this.
Okay.
I love it. This is, like I
Cuz
said, Julie's a romantic. When you boil it down to it, we need that love story, and it's gonna be
cuz
Nia.
like I can see this turning into like a bit of a horror romance where like
Mm-hmm.
Julie ends up staying with Nia and like bonding with her and like Frank starts to feel very
Because Julie's
like
not helping him
nervous
with any of the murders.
and like so he decides to try and recruit Meg cuz she already has like a bunch of masks and stuff.
She's like, "Do you want the pig, or do you want like the death guard, or like?"
Yeah, she's she's just like what do you want? What do you want? What do you want? What do you want? What do you need?
I love it.
So like he just starts working with Meg like to try and make Julie jealous because Julie's spending so much time with Nia. Just get that whole drama going.
I like that. I like it.
Which
So
I think that their next target should probably be like Felix.
okay,
I'm just saying that if you see a guy walking around in a suit,
he looks
then
important.
yeah, because Frank like he is targeting Karens, which puts Yunjin in a very very high target, or or politicians. So I could see like suit politician like let's go get that guy.
Who else looks important? We can off a couple of other people.
Obviously Jill and Leon, but I don't think they got the balls to come after somebody with guns yet.
Yeah, not yet. I don't think. I think
So
they need to lower the
Yunjin,
numbers.
Felix, Zarina like looks business dressed. Possibly Adam.
Yeah. I was like maybe Adam, but I was like I don't want Adam to die.
I know we never want him to die, but you know. So I feel like those are
Dare I
the
say
ones
he's
who
our
are like,
favorite?
yeah. So I think those are the high priority targets because they look important, or at least they give off that teacher vibe. Like I could see
Yeah.
Adam like catching them doing something bad, and he like scolds them, and they're just like, "Fuck you!"
And it's probably gonna be mostly Frank and Joey taking care of those three. Because
Yeah,
Susie is a sweetheart.
yeah.
She won't do it unless she's being forced or like feels she needs to or
Which
something. And then
which brings which brings me to her and Bill
okay.
because Meg is eventually going to be spending a lot of time with Frank, and since we have this headcanon of Meg and Bill being, you know, grandpa and grandkid, that maybe Susie warms up to Bill because he's this very rough and tumble old man who tells her stories about the Nam and when he was killing zombies, and Susie's just like, my god. And like he kind of like starts adopting her and giving her like a very stable parental figure in her life.
So
that also murders the shit out of people.
the only issue I take with that is it works off the assumption that a teenager is actually caring about anything an old man has to say.
I could also see Bill giving her a cigarette.
That works a lot better.
As I can just imagine him just sitting outside, just like,
Her
and he's
asking for
like,
a cigarette, and he's like,
and
"You
he's just
gotta
like,
listen to my story if you want to smoke with me."
yeah.
And she's just like, "Fuck, okay."
Like, number one, she was 100% expecting him to say no, and she was gonna have to take the cigarettes from him.
She thought she's gonna have to kill him for the cigarettes.
But when he pulls it out and uses his currently perpetually lit cigarette to light hers, and then starts telling her stories about the horrors of Nam and then the horrors of the undead zombies and all the mayhem he had to wreak, and she's just like, so she's just like, every time Bill goes out for a smoke break, aside from when he's smoking regularly inside, because there is no non-smoking in Bill Land, um, she just comes out to spend time with him because he's got good stories and gives her cigarettes. I don't know what Joey's doing. I feel like Joey might hang out with the guys, the bro squad.
I would say I think Joey is just teamed with Frank right now,
Yeah,
but he could go off and go take care of the bros.
I mean, I imagine that Joey and the bros would get along pretty well.
Joey shows up. Ash is halfway through chopping up Jane, and he's like, "Is that a body? Cool."
Yeah, they all go out drinking and like they're getting ready to drink, and he's like all of them are drinking, and they look at Joey like, "Wait, how old are you?" And he just lies, he's like 21. And they're like, "Okay, here's the beer."
He's already like 2 drinks deep too before they think of asking.
Yeah, it's because they're getting ready to do shots. Beer's not real alcohol. Jeez.
That's exactly what it was. Okay, I love that. And then we can have Joey just like fucking murder all of them when they're just shit faced.
Yeah, as I mean, otherwise they're not gonna have a shot in hell to kill an Ash. A
Yeah.
man with a chainsaw arm is gonna cleave through 4 teenagers.
Okay, let's take care of them now. So we don't have to worry about them later. Poor Jane.
Yeah.
All right. Let me make this smaller. Okay. Oh gosh,
Okay.
that's only 9 survivors. Okay. Nia and Jolie are still like bonding
Hmm.
over art and anti-disestablishmentarianism and all all those things that they both love. Um, Joey's getting those 3 boys taken care of. Susie's out there just bumming cigarettes off of Bill.
Crazy. If you think that some alcohol would stop Fung, she definitely has some drunk strain.
Oh, 100%. Um, Yunjin being knocked out. So Yui knocked Yunjin out, and they all just like took Ace upstairs,
Yeah.
locked him in that room. While Yunjin was alone and unconscious, Frank could just come by and like slit her throat.
Yeah.
So we can take Yunjin out pretty easily. He happened to be in the crowd and he was also tired of her being a Karen. So he took his shot. Um
Teenagers are doing our mystery van.
Oh yeah. That is Lori, Fung, Quentin, Nancy, and Steve and Cheryl, right?
Yeah,
We have headcanon that they're all like friends from high school and shit.
yeah.
Okay.
But
Um
I feel like Nancy would probably be trying to do some sleuthing. Like if they find Yunjin, they're like, but Ace was upstairs. There must be another one.
and then Quentin or Lori are probably like the more responsible ones who are just like, we should go tell Jill and Leon.
They don't even have to do that. Like Nancy's like sitting there taking notes and talking with everybody, and like some of them are like standing outside or something, and they do the whole "there's something you should see in here" trope, and everybody just starts filing in, and then Lori's like at the very back, and then the it parts, and she's just like, "Ah!"
The classic scream. I love that. So while they're holding Ace, I think they would still think it's Ace and they're like, you have an accomplice.
Yeah.
So then they gotta figure out who else there is the one helping Ace murder. Now, of Jill, Leon, Elodie, Cheryl, Zarina, Yui, Steve, Nancy.
Zarina's already dead.
Oh shit, she is right. You right. Hold on. Leon, Jill, Elodie, Cheryl, Yui, Steve, Nancy, Tap, Quentin, Fung, Bill, Lori, Nia, Claude, Meg, and Dwight. Who looks the most capable of murder?
I mean, Yui did clock Yunjin, so they might take her in because she's the one that clobbered her in the first place.
I'll go with it. I'll go with that.
Because I feel like Yui would be like, I didn't do it, but I'm going to like work with the authorities regardless. Like she doesn't give me the impression that she's going to like try and kick their asses. She's just gonna be real grumpy while like working with them.
Yeah, she'll just be like, I know I didn't do it, so I'm just gonna like not cause anything bad to actually happen
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
process to me. So she gets locked up with Ace. Which means when we have like the whole thing of like Ace getting murdered, if Yui's also in there, while Ace is getting stabbed, Yui's just like, because she's also probably gonna be like handcuffed to a chair, can't really defend herself, probably screaming, and then also gets got before anyone shows up. That could be a thing. Um, we'll hang on to that for the future. So they take Yui, lock her up with. Make a note. Locked Yui up with Ace, and then
So they're probably gonna to close that area off. Check out Yunjin and trying to determine what the murder weapon is, and see if they can find the murder weapon.
it's a knife directly from the wiki. Weapon, knife. They have my favorite
Oh.
wiki. It's so funny. I still love the occupation. High schoolers, serial killers. Um,
So they're gonna start looking for a knife or any clues of where anything else is located that would give them a idea. So I imagine if it's dusty and there's some snow, they might at least have some footprints.
ooh, yes.
So we might have like have them all like taking all of the people that have similar shoe sizes and like checking their shoes.
It's oh no. I'll say The ones who are like the size of teenagers are gonna be like Cheryl, Nancy, Lori,
Yep.
Quentin.
With the size of Quentin's hands, though, I feel like his feet
I'd say
gotta
he
be
probably has
massive.
like giant feet. You're right.
Yeah, they probably look at Quentin like, nah, I don't think it was him.
Leon, however, Leon has some small foot energy.
Yeah, but he was with Jill.
True.
Like, Tap, Leon, and Jill were all together trying
Steve.
to solve it.
Steve has
Yeah.
small average feet.
Yeah.
Or Steven. I also kind of imagine Nancy finding the footprints and being like, I'm gonna follow them straight to death.
Yeah.
So, what if it was Nancy and Steve find footprints and Nancy's like, I'm gonna follow them. You go tell Jill and Leon. Since Steve leaves her to go tell Jill and Leon, be like, we found footprints. Meanwhile, Nancy's already wandered off. She walks fast. It's canon. We know that.
She power walks.
Power walks straight to death.
She's been doing those 80s workout videos.
She actually found where they were dragging Jane's body, and that's what she was following. And then she comes up to Joey as he's finishing the job on Ash and just takes care of her too.
Yeah.
All right.
Dwight's still in mourning. Or, wait, they don't know that they're dead yet, do they?
No, they just haven't seen them for a little while.
So we might be able to get Dwight just trying to find where David went to.
He can wander into Julie one of the times that she's not with Mia.
Yeah. Like, he thought he saw somebody walking around over there, and he was like, I mean, it doesn't look as thick as David, but
Maybe they've
he has,
seen David. He's very identifiable, not hard to miss. Be like, have you seen an obviously British man who looks
yeah,
like a Pokemon?
yes.
And he means it in the most loving way possible. That portrait is just it's why I hate it. Anyway, Dwight gets got.
Okay, so we're down to Meg, Claudette, Mia, Lori, Ace, Bill, Fung, Quentin, Tap, Steve, Yui, Cheryl, Elodie, Jill, and Leon.
Hey, I don't want to ruin this for you. However, I would like to point out that while I think Frank would kill Nia for being a threat to his relationship with Jolie, I also think he would kill Bill just to be an asshole to Susie. And she would just be like, he was really nice, he was giving me cigarettes, and he would just like take the cigarettes off of Bill's dead body, hand her the entire pack, and he's like, there you go, you got the cigarettes.
I don't think he could beat Bill in a fight.
I think he could easily.
Uh, a
I
gun versus Frank.
It could
Gun
literally
wins.
literally be like the cleaning guy from the hardware store. He just literally walks up behind him and stabs him because Susie hasn't been murdering anybody all night, and he's just like, "Oh, you're out here telling stories," and just slits him like from right behind.
I have the faith in the Bill.
And then Susie can kill Frank.
Okay, I can negotiate for that.
Okay, I'm trying to kill survivors here. Okay,
All right.
it doesn't
I
happen
just
have to
I
happen
just want
now.
Susie to be happy.
It doesn't have to happen now. But I just want to throw it out there that I think Frank would absolutely do that asshole move of we've been out here working. What have you been doing, Susie? And she's like
Okay,
crying.
I can negotiate for that.
Okay. She's
Or
gonna
God
kill
forbid he injures Bill and forces her to stab him, and Bill's just looking at her like knowing that she has to do it or she'll get hurt, and he's just like, it's okay.
the camera just zooms in like on her eyes, like from the angle of like looking up as Bill. And you just see tears just filling.
Yeah. But he's just like, it's okay. It's
Oh,
okay. Knowing that
man.
he has to die for her to be alright.
And then she just goes in a fucking rage and just stabs Frank to death.
I don't think she'll stab him yet.
Yeah. This has to be
Like
in the future. We gotta kill, like, Frank still has to kill Nia before he can die.
yeah.
So,
So, also I think that Elodie is probably gonna look for Felix now.
oh, true, he did go,
He got a little while ago.
he
It's been a
did.
little bit.
It has been.
Like I think the teens are gonna stick together, the cops are gonna stick together.
The
So we're
cops
kind
are
of
gonna
getting
tell the teens quit wandering off.
yeah. And then we also have Claudette that's kind of a loner.
That's
So
true.
Claudette might get got just because she tends to be by herself.
Frank can start to notice that Julie's been hanging out with that Nia person and
Yeah.
getting a little sus. And, so he goes off and he finds Meg.
Yeah, Meg's just like out running. So Frank like starts running next to her, so she starts running faster, and then Frank starts running faster. You know, the
That's
feral frenzy speed.
horrifying!
The
That
feral
is,
frenzy speed.
that's so scary. That is so scary.
Yeah, but you know, Frank, whenever he does something creepy or mean, he just goes, nice. So, like, she starts going faster. He catches up to her and just goes, nice. And then, God forbid, he, like, pulls out his mask like he's gonna stab her. And then she pulls out her mask. And he's just like, wait a second. Just the running stops.
uh, I'm just caught off on the like. I don't know if you've ever been followed before, but I have, and it's the most horrifying feeling
It is, but
of.
I lack respect for Meg, so uh,
But I'm just saying, like, I don't think she would even pull on it. Like, my instinct when I got followed was I punched a dude in the dick. So that's where I'm coming from. Of he would probably kill Meg versus have her team up with him. Like, I don't think that's the way to go about it.
okay. What do you think is going to be their catalyst to hook up?
Um, I imagined her just kind of just being off by herself, not like on a run or anything, because the cops told everybody just not wander off. Um, and him just being like crazy night, huh? And just trying to be like, what, like trying to suss out like, what do you think of it?
Yeah. I'm trying to think if he would have anything like sitting around in Ormond that they could bond over. Like if she's like hanging out in a room admiring all the hood ornaments. It's like you want to hear the story behind these hood ornaments.
That actually would be really funny.
Just starts telling stories about how he stole shit off of cars and
Well, he can't out himself. He can talk about, be like, yeah, there's apparently a local gang that's been.
I
uh,
heard they call themselves the Soldiers of Mayhem. That's a real lame name. Just like,
that's why.
yeah. So stupid. The only thing that could be stupider is, and then they both say at the same time, the Marauders of Mayhem.
I'm down with this one. I like
Okay.
this version.
Uh,
So they're off bonding. I think we'd get to a point of like Frank is jealous of Julie and Nia, and Julie is jealous of Frank and Meg. So then Julie can murder Meg, Frank murders Nia, and then they're like, "We are always meant to be."
Murders Julie.
What?
Or Meg murders Julie.
No. I like Julie. I love Meg, but I like Julie more than I like Meg.
It's the first time I've ever pitched Meg living through something.
I
I
know.
just I just want you to remember this moment that I am actually trying to get Meg to live for a little bit and you're killing her.
But
Just
you're gonna kill.
throwing that out there.
You're gonna kill her anyway in the future. Like Meg's gonna die regardless, but in the process, you're killing both Meg and Julie.
That's my end goal the whole time.
Wow. I don't like it.
Okay, so Julie kills Meg and Frank kills Nia. I still think Julie should have ended up with Nia.
In a perfect world, yes. If this were an actual romance, I'd be for that. But we have teenage edgelords who think they're soulmates and are suddenly incredibly jealous that the other is spending time with this other girl. And so they decide to murder each other's partners because that's the best expression of love that they can communicate for each other.
So it is written, so it shall be done.
Romantic. I love it. Um Claudette's kind of like off by herself. She could easily be just
Pretty
offed.
much. Yeah.
I'll just I love her, but it's just still
Yes,
along for too long.
I could also see her like going into the bathroom because it's the quietest place in the whole thing.
The bathroom death.
Bathroom death.
Bathroom death emotes in chat. Um Nancy's been gone. She hasn't come back. I know
Artist
the
said
cops
RuPaul quote.
do what?
Artist said that was that a RuPaul quote. I'm like, what? Hold
No.
on.
Nancy's been gone for a while. I know the cops told the teenagers don't wander off. But I think at some point they're going to be like, Nancy's not come back.
Yeah, but if
Steve,
enough people are wandering off and people are dying, they're probably gonna get somebody to watch them. Like Tap's probably gonna be like put in charge as the babysitter for the babysitter.
yes,
Or I guess babysitters, since we've got multiple babysitters in the group.
we could have in the locked up room. This could be the point where Ace and Yui get got
Yeah,
because one of them sneaks in through the window or something.
yeah.
Uh,
Are we gonna also have this be the point where Frank kills Bill?
can be. We could have Julie taking care of like Julie and Joey
Yeah,
can be taken care of between Claudette, Ace, and Yui. And then Frank goes off and finds Susie and being like, look how many people they fucking killed. Susie hasn't touched anybody.
Yeah.
Frank's like, this is a team effort.
We're in this together. That's why we're the Legion.
Because, like, Susie and Bill are just out on the balcony. He's telling a story. She's having a good time. She's just like, haha, having fun, smoking, coughing a lot. Because she's actually not used to smoking. She just wanted to look cool. And then Frank just comes up behind Bill and slits his throat.
And makes her stab him
It makes it,
again.
oh yeah, it makes her stab him. Yep. Okay.
Welcome back, artist.
Murdered by Frank and Susie. And then
I was thinking,
Susie kills Frank.
not yet. I
Okay.
feel like that's got to be the finale.
Okay.
I was thinking that like Susie, like does whatever she needs to do to pacify Frank, and he takes off. But she's mortified because she just had to kill Bill, and is just like crying. And Steve is a gentleman, and he sees her crying and comes over to, in his awkward as fuck way, try and comfort her.
Aww. And gets stabbed.
I don't think she's gonna stab him. I'm
Okay.
just saying that like maybe Steve is like starts to become the friend that Susie really needs.
Aww.
Because Steve does the right thing. It might not like he does the right thing according to what he thinks is the right thing, but it might not be the right thing. You know what I mean?
Kind of the
Like
way in like Julie and Frank think that what they're doing is the right thing, but it's definitely not. Um,
so yeah, he's like the there.
Julie can then stab him and being like, "What are you doing talking to her? She's only 16."
Is
Because
Steve over 18?
there, he's in like his early 20s.
But he was in high school.
He he was. He's like 20 or 21 now.
Yeah, but okay, so DBD lore is during the Demogorgon time, which is puts him in high school.
The Demogorgon's been since they were out of high school though. The Demogorgon's even in season 3.
I guess that makes sense. He does have Scoops Ahoy.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just seeing like I want to
Yeah,
see
him
if
and
there's
Nancy are like 20, 21, I think, for DVD. I think Quentin and Lori are actually the youngest.
hmm.
Quentin's
I don't
also
know.
an absolute sweetheart. Now that I finally got to watch, I love Quentin. I love Quentin in that movie so much.
Oh my god, what if Quentin finally gets noticed? It's the notice me senpai moment where he's existing and she looks up at him with like these tear-stained eyes and he's just like, "You can see me."
Poor Quentin.
It's
I
like
do also
it's
like the idea of Steve just like trying to be nice and comfort this girl who's clearly crying, and then Julie just being like, "You fucking creep."
also yes. Okay, I'm cool with Julie killing Steve. Steve comes over, tries to give her an inspirational speech, give her comfort, and Julie stabs her, or stabs him rather.
Okay.
And then the more age appropriate Quentin shares an energy drink with her.
Perfect. So her and Quentin are actually getting along, and that's far more appropriate because he's actually like in high school.
Yeah, yeah. Those
um,
two, those two start talking because she actually like acknowledged his existence compared to everyone else. and starts sharing an energy drink with her, and she starts like talking to him, and he like tells her about this guy, how he can't go to sleep because of this guy that's in his dreams with these long blade fingers, and she believes him.
Yes.
This is it. Somebody actually gives a fuck about Quentin.
Oh man.
Quentin will die for her because then he can finally take a nap.
um. Oh, precious Quentin. I just wish Freddy was like the story of Freddy wasn't so gross. I
Yeah.
genuinely really loved Quentin in that movie.
Did you watch the old one or the new one?
I actually watched both. I watched the new one first, and then I watched the old one because I wanted to see like how much of it did they change or
Mm.
whatever. Um, they're not good movies. I'll tell you that. Like, don't go into it expecting great.
I watched the
Um,
original one. I just didn't watch the new one yet.
it's it's almost the same except like they changed what Freddy did to the kids, which was so unnecessary. They could have just kept it that he was a child murderer. I don't know if that is it. It's not really better either. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh.
it's it's almost the same. But I like Quentin more than I like the teenagers from the first one. Like
Okay.
Quentin and Nancy in the new one, I like better than Glenn and Nancy in the original.
Okay. All right. So let's go down our list. So we still have Lori Fung, Quentin
Quentin
Tapp,
Tap.
Cheryl, Jill, and Leon.
Did we kill Elodie yet? We said that she
Uh,
was going to go off and try to find Felix, but I don't
yeah.
think we killed her.
Julie stabs Steve and sees Elodie heading out to go look for Felix, and is like, I'll be right back. So I
All
feel like
right,
we're getting close to showdown time
we are.
because we have very few left. Do you want to put the our remainders in there so we have a visual of who's left and we'll just shift them around?
Yeah. So it's Lori, Fung, Tap,
Leon
um,
and Jill.
Cheryl, Leon, Jill.
Yes.
How am I out of space? Hold on. Cheryl, Leon. Uh,
It's because you have the extra locked up Yui with Ace
oh yeah, that's
that
right.
we didn't clear out yet.
That's fine. Jill. Okay. Cool. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, and of course all of the Legion are still alive. Now, I will propose. So Quentin's telling Susie about the man with the knives who's trying to kill him in his dreams,
Yes.
and then Susie's just like relatable because she's like, yeah, there's also this guy who I hate who stole my best friend from me, and he
Hmm.
also likes knives, and he's killing everybody I ever know. Like
Everybody I
she,
ever loved has been killed by him or stolen by him.
and she's just, or she's like, he just tries to make me do bad things, and like, she's very vague about it, but she's just like, it's kind of relatable. She can convince Quentin to help her kill Frank.
Quentin's just like, you gotta stand up to yourself, or you gotta stand up for yourself.
Quentin
And
was
it's like,
down to murder Freddy. I will say that. So
Okay, I haven't seen the new one. I need to do that. I need to be a responsible
It's
adult here.
free. You can watch it. I would
Where
just
is
say
it?
just Peacock. We literally talked about it right before the
I'm
stream.
sorry. You know I have the memory of a gnat when it comes to this shit.
Literally 2 out. Literally 2 hours ago, I was like, "Yeah, both Nightmare on Elm Streets are free on Peacock," and you're like, "Peacock, what's that?" And you're like, you Googled it, and you're like, "It starts at free," and I was like, "I just said they're free."
I hear words. I don't always process the words, but I hear them. I promise.
You are
Okay,
actively
so
doing Google searches. It's okay.
uh okay, so Clinton is hanging out with Susie and is like, "You got to stand up for yourself." And maybe she starts to actually go into detail because he's actually being encouraging and isn't like running off.
Yes, because
And
he's
that kind of
heard
makes
worse.
him like, maybe Quentin's like, okay, like starts to get on board, like, don't worry, I'm gonna help protect you and these people here. Like he's getting on board.
Mm-hmm.
Susie is getting her own Frank that's not an absolute piece of shit.
Aww. And then they murder Frank.
Yes. So I think at least one of our people with the guns needs to go. Like, I need a catalyst, and I think it's gonna be like Joey coming in and like stabbing like Lori, Fung, or like coming after Leon or Tap, and Jill like shoots him and he dies to be the catalyst for the Legion to like, you know, Frank and Julie to come in and
So,
be like,
so this is entirely due to sexist game design, but I will say both Tap and Leon have bulletproof vests. Jill is unprotected. She would be
true.
the easiest to stab.
She would indeed.
It is entirely sexism at fault here. But a knife will go through her.
Well, we could like if Joey comes in to kill like Lori, Fung, or Cheryl. Sorry, gnats flying around my face. Uh, and then Jill shoots Joey. Then we can easily have Frank or Julie come up behind her and stab her,
Okay.
which will then put a gun into Legion's possession to kind of even the playing fields a little bit.
Okay.
So the question is Lori, Fung, or Cheryl?
Lori.
That's true because that would get the most attention because she will let out like her last lungful of air. Just,
The loudest scream. So Joey walks up, stabs her. Jill then shoots Joey.
yes,
Oh man.
like she's trying to save Lori and she doesn't make it, but Jill shoots Joey.
Or Joey. He's so fun. So pure of
I
heart.
I know he is.
Man. I didn't think he'd be the
So
first of the Legion to die. I really thought it would be Frank.
so
And
then Frank or Julie would then stab Jill or hold her hostage like with the knife and then take the gun from her and use her as like a human shield or something. Possibly.
I think they would. But see, okay, also if they attack Jill, like Leon and Tap would be ready. So I think
True.
using her as a shield is the best course of action. I think Frank is most capable because he did it to the cleaning man at the store.
Hmm.
Like he went right up behind him and stabbed him.
Like he's making them all drop their weapons so that they can't shoot him because he's got the gun and he's got Jill.
Yes.
which will make it much easier for Julie to go up and like kill Tap or Leon.
Which she could probably take Tap easiest.
Yeah, he's old.
He's old. He's too old for this shit.
Yeah,
So
because yeah, he's
she gonna
lore even
actually
says that he struggles with physical activity at this point.
is she actually gonna kill Tap?
I think so.
Okay.
They've dropped the weapons. She's collected them. They've got nothing now.
So now we have Frank and Julie, guns in hands.
Yes.
Jill held hostage by Frank. Julie just like pointing the gun at everyone else. Anybody tries to shoot Frank, they're gone.
Yeah.
Roll Bonnie and Clyde here. It's what they've always wanted. Um, I,
So
Leon's literally the only one left that would even try to fight them. To be honest,
yeah,
I mean, we could have
like
him
I feel like Julie, like at this point, has got some swagger on and is probably like gonna pick people off just because she
just
feels
because she
like it.
can.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um.
which
And
she
Jill's gonna die 100% from Julie because I think Jill, when she sees that they're killing people anyway, she's gonna try and disarm Frank and like headbutt the back, backwards and smash his nose and try and flip him, and then Julie's just gonna straight up shoot her.
I like that. Can I propose my idea also?
Yes.
Julie goes to take out either Fung or Cheryl, and Leon goes to stop her, shoots Julie. Frank shoots Jill. Just while he's holding her, just
So does that mean like how do Leon tries to stop Julie? Does he like try and
actually
shoot
fucking.
her?
He actually shoots her.
Okay.
Julie's gone.
Oh. I have a little bit of a different idea.
Okay.
Um a little bit more of a cinematic end
Okay.
for Susie and Julie.
Oh no. Because of Susie murdering Frank? Okay, okay, we'll keep Julie alive. What was your original idea that you proposed before I.
Well, I mean, we can do that too. We can literally have Leon try and like go and stop Julie, and Frank just shoots Jill in the head and then shoots Leon. Just pop, pop.
Okay. After Julie
Um,
kills either Fung or Cheryl?
yeah.
Okay. Do you have a preference of which one?
No, I'm trying to think like if there's anything that would stand out that they would be like have a preference, but I don't know.
I think it would just be a matter of convenience. And conveniently, Fung is top of the list.
Okay.
So,
So that
I
legit
think
is going to leave Cheryl is the only person in the room currently that's alive.
that's true. You know
I feel
what?
like
No, we gotta switch it. It's gotta be Cheryl. We always leave Cheryl alive.
okay.
We're gonna kill Cheryl. We're gonna leave Fung for now.
So they're
Okay.
probably going to restrain Fung because, they want to kill this one together. But also, they got to have their moment where they're like, "You killed for me."
Oh,
So everybody is dead but Fung and Quentin at this point. Quentin's out there with Susie. Okay, and this is where it's going to get real cinematic.
okay. Okay, I'm ready.
So Quentin and Susie have seen this all go down, and Quentin's like, "Is that the guy?" And Susie's like, "That's the guy." They go back to Bill's body and take his gun. So Quentin's got a gun, Susie has her knife, and while Frank and Julie are like, they set their weapons down for the moment because they gotta like hug it out because they killed for each other. And Quentin just straight up shoots them, doesn't kill them, but he shoots them and injures them so they can't get away.
Just
At
like
which point, Susie walks up to them and looks Frank dead in the eye. And Quentin helps hold him up, and she puts the knife in Frank's hand
makes
and
him
makes
stab
him
himself.
stab Julie because he made her stab somebody and he didn't want to do it.
She would make him stab her best friend.
I mean, Julie just like stabbed one of her, one of the people that or I mean, I guess it could be a reverse. She could make Julie stab Frank and then just leave her there.
I thought you were gonna have her say she made Frank stab himself.
We could make Julie watch.
Yes.
I just thought it would be like because he forced her to kill somebody that she didn't want and was screaming at her while it was going on.
Okay, hold on.
Oh my
Hold
god,
on.
what if Quentin is holding a gun to Julie's head? No intention of killing her. And Susie puts the knife in Frank's hand and is going to make him stab himself, and she's just screaming at him, "You have to do it or we're going to shoot her." No, like, and she's holding the knife and helping him push it in because that's what he did to her. And then once he's dead and Julie just had to watch him die, and Susie's just like, you were my best friend, so I'm not going to kill you, but I'm leaving you here." And then they take Fung and they just leave.
So,
And Quentin gets to be a badass for the first time in his life in this whole series.
all because I watched the movie finally. um, I do want to add a thought to that. So I love that. I don't think I don't think Susie would ever kill Julie because she's her best friend,
Mhm.
but I think Julie would kill Susie for killing Frank.
But she's been shot. She's injured. She's not dead,
Right.
but she's injured. So Julie might come for her later, but that's for a sequel to find out.
Oh, okay, that's fair.
Like like our trapper. So Frank is dead because Susie forced him to stab himself to save Julie, even though she had no intention of killing Julie, and leaves Julie bleeding on the
Traumatized.
bleeding in Ormond on the floor with Frank's dead body. Gives her the old speech, and then leaves with her Quentin and Fung because Fung survives. So they're just like, you know what, let's go. We're our own legion now.
It's for teenage survivors. They are kind of it's the new Legion. Look at them.
Yeah, just kneels down in front of Julie and goes, "We are legion," and then just pieces out.
Oh man, I love that. Okay, are we ready
So,
for a recap?
so our actual last survivors were Quentin, Fung, Susie, and Julie.
I like it.
Okay, we ready for the recap?
All right. So, up in Canada is the rundown, no longer operating Mount Ormond Resort. And a man named Ace Visconti, who, through some weird dealings, thought that he could, without renovating the place at all, manage to scam a bunch of people into paying a lot of money to come to this place, including celebrities like Jane Romero and Kate Denson. And he was successful until people actually showed up. Once they saw the place, everyone was very mad. And they were all yelling at him. And he's just trying to be like, I'll you guys take care of him. Just one guy. Come on, we gotta calm down. He's trying to settle them down. Jane had actually arrived earlier. She wasn't happy with the accommodations either, but she was just like up in her room. She's like, I'll try to make the best of it until I can go home, hopefully tonight. But she gets murdered. And nobody knew she was there yet, I guess. Nobody noticed she was gone. So they're all still down with Ace. Now, Ace has a couple of friends. Jeff, Ash, and David. And while they are not heavily involved in the scam, they definitely want their friend to succeed, because usually if their friend benefits some money, they benefit somehow, whether it's more drinks or whatever. Drinks, drugs, girls, whatever you want. They happen across Jane's body. And they're like, this isn't good for business. We can get this taken care of. And they drag her body out of the room, throw it out a window. Ash is down at the bottom of the window, ready to drag her off to help get her chopped up and stored in a ski lift where hopefully none of the guests will find her because the ski lift is broken. They can't use it anyway. Surely this is a safe answer. While everyone's yelling at Ace, Kate decides that she's gonna just make the best of this. It is what it is. There's no easy way for them to get down from the mountain. So she goes up to the balcony to just look at the nice view. And somebody comes up behind her, stabs her, and then throws her body over the balcony. Below the balcony is just a gaping hole in the middle of the wall that she just perfectly falls in the center of and splats right there. Everybody sees her body, panics. Jill, Leon, and Tab immediately go into their cop mode of, do not crowd the crime scene. We need to keep people away from here. Everyone back off. Stay out of this area. Jake is we probably put Jake as one of the survivors. We actually don't know if Jake survives or not. Jake just decides, you know what? Somebody just got murdered, and this isn't what people said it was gonna be, so I'm just gonna leave. And he feels confident enough he can make it down the mountain, so he just takes off.
You can probably find a cave with better accommodations than this.
Right. Now, while everybody is just kind of like going around the resort, avoiding the crime scene, accosting Ace, the crowd splits, and Yunjin approaches Ace. She is Karen Supreme, the ultimate one, the one who will make sure that Ace knows he fucked up, will pay for fucking up, and will never fuck up again in his life, or she will literally haunt him. So she's up there telling him what's what. Everyone else is like, she kind of has it under control. Felix, Zarina, and Adam at some point end up getting picked off, and people don't really notice at first. Meanwhile, back to Jane's body. Ash, Jeff, and David are getting that taken care of when this teenager shows up and is like, whoa, is that a body? And they're like, no. And he's like, that's kind of cool. And they're like, okay, cool, this kid's not gonna like rat us out, okay. And then they're just like, hey, you want some drinks? Maybe if they give him beer, he won't tell the cops. So they give him a couple of beers, and then they bring out the hard liquor and they start pouring shots, and they stop and they're like, wait, hold on, actually, how old are you? And he just lies, and he's like, 21. And they're like, excellent. So they pour a couple of shots, they all get drunk. Once they are drunk enough, Joey goes ahead and is just like, I gotta clean up this mess now, and kills Ash, Jeff, and David all together. How did we get to the Yunjin part? Oh, yes. So everybody kind of dispersed while Yunjin was yelling at Ace, and they were like, she's got it under control. Even if she didn't, none of us would have a chance to talk with her. Um, so they go upstairs, at which point they see the obvious trail of blood where Jane's body was dragged out of a room and thrown out a window. And they are like, this guy who is running this place and brought us all here murdered somebody. And so they go down to confront him. Yunjin tries to say, no, 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 I'm talking. And Yui just punches her, knocks her out, and Ace is like, oh, thank God. Listen, we can actually have a civil conversation now. Let me just explain everything. And then handcuffs get put on him. And he gets manhandled up to the clean room where he's going to be held hostage until the cops can figure out how they're going to deal with this situation, get everybody safely off the mountain, get the local law enforcement up to take care of him. Everybody kind of goes upstairs, figuring all this shit out, while Yunjin is left alone, unconscious. One of the Legion teenagers comes in, just slits her throat. Uh, Somebody ends up finding Yunjin's body, and oh, it was the teenagers. It was like the Nancy, Steve, Lori,
Yeah.
that group. Lori, because she screamed. That's what it was. Lori sees the body. She screams. They're like, hey guys, you gotta come see this. They find Yunjin, her throat slit. The only person in the group that had an issue with Yunjin was Yui. It's a little sus. Yui's like, it wasn't me, but fine. If you think it was, put me in the room. I'll be okay. The other dude's restrained. Even if it wasn't, she could fight him. She's like, I'm not afraid to be locked up in a room with Ace. She could kill him if she needed to. So Yui gets handcuffed and put into the room with Ace. Meanwhile, the Nancy and the teenagers, trying to do some sleuthing what's going on around here, find some footprints. Nancy tells Steve to go tell the cops because the cops told them not to wander off. And then Nancy's like, I'm gonna go follow them and see where this is going. And she runs into Joey and dies. Dwight also is like, I haven't seen David for a while. And goes off and gets caught and dies. Now, I need water for this next part. This is big. This whole time, while people are being murdered here and there, Nia's been wandering around the place and she sees that things have been tagged already. And she's like it's kind of cool. Legion's like a dumb name. And she's like looking around and she sees like these really cool snow globes of people burning a snowman with a person inside of it. And she finds this t-shirt that was just like thrown in the garbage, which looked really cool because it was just like sharpied uh soldiers of mayhem. And she's like, that's a cool ass fucking thing. So she starts spray painting soldiers of mayhem around the place. And this girl comes up to her and she's like, soldiers of mayhem, that's like really cool. She's like, that's really cool. Where'd you get that? And she's like, yeah, I found this shirt. And like, she's probably wearing the shirt at that point. She was like, this is a cool ass fucking shirt. um and she's really into it and she's like, this place is actually kind of cool. Like, yeah, it's run down, but I've been to worse. um she's been to Crota's friend. um and she's just like, but yeah, there's just like this shirt, these just really cool snow globes. She starts talking to this girl, finds out her name's Julie. They're really getting along. There's a connection there, there's something. um Also, while everybody's kind of getting offed, Frank sees this one girl who's just kind of like not as grouped up with everybody, who clearly is just like anxious. She wants to like go out for a run or something. She just like feels cabin fever already. And he just goes and picks her brain like, hey, what do you think about all this going on here? And she's like, yeah, pretty insane. This guy is a murderer and we're like stuck up here. And uh they start getting a little close about everything that is happening. Eventually, it gets to the point that Frank notices how close Julie is getting to Nia, and he doesn't like that. Julie likewise notices how close Frank is getting to Meg, and she doesn't like that. Even with the promise of Meg already has a mask, she can easily join the Legion, she's a threat, and that cannot be tolerated. Frank also sees Nia, yet as much as they have in common, as a threat, and he can't have that. So Frank murders Nia, Julie murders Meg, and they have a moment of, oh, you murdered because you loved me, and they lay the kiss and shit, or whatever. They're really into it. That's their love language, by the way. Claudette, who's been kind of just off on her own as well, goes to try to find the bathroom, and along the way dies. Um Ace and Yui were locked up in the room, and one of the Legion teenagers, not Susie, uh broke into the room through the window and stabbed Ace. While they were murdering Ace, Yui starts screaming, but they end up getting to Yui as well and getting out of there before anybody opens the door to find out that, like, somebody was in there to murder them. Now, while Julie, Joey, and Frank have been busy at work getting shit done, really clearing house of all of these people that have invaded their hideout, Susie found this old dude who was just chilling out on the balcony. And she was just like, I don't know what this old guy is here for. He was just like, hey, kid, want to hear some stories? And at first she was like, not really. And he's like, you want a cigarette then? And she was like, yeah, okay. And that really got her. That won her over. He lit her a cigarette. And he's like, but you gotta stay and listen to some stories now, because he's an old man. And she was like, yeah, okay. But she ended up being more into the stories than she thought she was going to be, because it was all like murder, zombies, war. And she was like, this is actually pretty cool fucking stories. And she was starting to really like this guy. And she was just like, yeah, the others can like kill everybody. It's whatever. I'm not going to kill anybody. I'm just going to chill out with this old man. It's fine. But then Frank comes out and sees Susie just having a good time. And he walks up, he stabs Bill, and then he puts the knife in Susie's hand and he tells her to kill him. And Susie doesn't want to. And Frank yells at her that they've been in there this whole time, killing everybody else. She hasn't done shit. And if she doesn't kill him, he like threatens her or something. So he forces her to stab Bill. And she's sad. She's crying. And she was like, he was really nice. He gave me cigarettes. And then Frank just grabs the pack of cigarettes from Bill's dead body and throws them at her. He's just like, there, you can have cigarettes. Um, and leaves her. And she's just out there crying. And Frank vanishes into the night. Steve notices his himbo senses are tingling. There's a girl crying somewhere who just needs comfort. So Steve sees Susie just really sad. Bill's there dead. I don't know why we didn't address Steve noticing Bill dead, but
I actually figured she moved to a different room
okay.
because she didn't want to stay with the.
The dead body. Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
Susie leaves the dead body. She's crying. Steve notices her. He goes to try to comfort her. Julie notices and is just like, there's clearly an age gap here. And she thinks Steve is a creep trying to hit on Susie, who's obviously a teenager. So she kills Steve, which is thus far the most justified murder. Uh, while those weren't his intentions, I get the perception. Uh, so she takes care of Steve. Susie's probably still sad because she was like, "Great, somebody tried to comfort me, and out there dead too."
Yeah.
Um, Elodie realized that Felix has been gone for a while, so she's wandered off to try to find him a little while ago. And after Julie gets done dealing with Steve, she notices Elodie walking off around the cabin and goes to get her taken care of. Then we have Lori, Tap, Cheryl, Leon, Jill, Quentin, and Fung. Uh, Susie, again, has to leave her comfort zone because there's a dead body and wanders off, still sad, still crying. Quentin sees, and he goes over to see what's up, to try and comfort her, and he's like, yeah, dead bodies, they're terrible. He tries to comfort her with horror stories of a man haunting his nightmares. Somehow it works. Because he's like, yeah, there's this guy, I can't sleep. He's murdered everybody that I know. Any of my friends who have fallen asleep, he's murdered them. He has knives for fingers. Susie kind of shares a similar story of, there's this guy who, he wants me to, kill people. He kills people around me all the time. He really likes knives. She starts getting a little bit more specific over time, but they're kind of swapping stories, bonding. He's a real comfort zone for her. She needs that. Joey gets done taking care of the bros for the ski lift and walks back in. And of the group that is left, he walks in and just stabs Lori. At which point, Lori screams to draw attention to it, but she's dead within a minute. Jill, seeing that Joey just walked up and fucking stabbed Lori, shoots him. Joey's dead. While Jill is occupied with shooting Joey, Frank and Julie show up. Frank grabs Jill, grabs her gun, holds the gun to her. Leon and Tap are ready to shoot, but we get that whole standoff of if you shoot, I shoot, while Frank is holding Jill hostage. Julie takes care of Tap, stabs him, knocks him down, steals his gun. She gets very excited at the prospect of murdering with a gun because I don't think she's ever done it before. Pretty sure she's only murdered with knives, and so she's like, this is great. Immediately shoot Cheryl. Just for the thrill of it. At which point, Leon shoots Julie to try to stop her. Tries to stop Julie. I guess he misses. But just the attempt of trying to shoot Julie is enough for Frank that he shoots and kills Jill. And Leon. Yes. Leon goes to shoot Julie, Frank shoots Leon, then shoots Jill. So they're both dead. So then we have only Fung left with Frank and Julie. And Frank and Julie are having a moment of Frank being like, oh my god, that was so hot when you just shot that girl. And she was like, oh my god, that was so hot when you shot those two cops. And they're just into it with each other. Fung is just fucking terrified. She's like, I'm fucking next, I guess. And they're talking about how they're gonna torture this girl together or some shit. In comes Quentin and Susie, the unlikely duo of Quentin just being like, is that the guy you were talking about? And Susie's like, yeah. So Susie goes to Bill and she's like, we can get a gun from, I know where we can get a gun. Takes the gun off of Bill's body, gives it to Quentin because he seems like he might know what to do with it. I guess. While Julie and Frank are having a moment, Quentin shoots them both, not to kill, but to injure. And while Julie's kind of down for the count, Susie grabs her knife. Or no, Quentin goes in and grabs Julie, holds the gun to her. Susie told him not to kill her ahead of time. She was like, under no circumstances, she's my best friend, do not kill her, but we're gonna put on a show for this guy. That was their plan. So Quentin's holding Julie like he's going to shoot her. And Susie takes out her knife, puts it in Frank's hand, presses it to his chest, and tells him to stab himself. He's trying to put up a fight. She keeps pushing into his chest, and she's like, stab yourself or Julie's dead. And uh like Frank's not going to stab himself, but Susie is stabbing Frank, but his making sure his hand is on the knife.
Just like he did to
Just
her.
just like he did to her every time he made her stab anybody. So Frank is dead. Quentin and Susie grab Fung. Susie goes over to Julie after Quentin just like lets her go, and Julie's just like on the ground injured and just glad she's not dead, distraught that Frank is. And then Susie's just like, we're the Legion now. And they leave Julie up there among all of the dead bodies. In the sequel, Julie's Revenge.